Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Duel Masters third place finals. This is going to be the basically winner of this is going to get third place of the tournament. On the left, we have Nino playing his Pharzinomancer, which is kind of like a Marinomancer but with Lightbringers in it. On the right, we have Mikkel piloting his Dragon deck, and this is going to be a first to two. The winner of the first game is going to have to switch decks and will not be allowed to play the deck that they were playing in the first game. So here we go, Fairy Life coming in, giving Mikkel some more mana. Nino is just starting off with a Lightbringer there. There's a Pharsi, the Oracle from Nino, another Lightbringer to join the party. So Nino's deck is really like kind of an aggressive Marinomancer build. It runs Zombie Carnival to get back Lightbringers. Most Marinomancer deck you see is kind of more of like a control mid-range deck. There's a lot of ways you can build a Marinomancer deck. I think that card has a lot of potential to kind of just give you a lot of card draw in matchups that are kind of going long. It can be very good to give you some kind of an edge. There's an Arenomancer. He does get two cards, but unfortunately the range room goes to the graveyard. And Nino is just going in here. The Kukulupia doesn't even care about it. Um, Hopefully Mikkel can establish some kind of a dragon now to get back in the game. But currently Nino is just having a lot of control here with only three shields left already. Mikkel is going to have to get out some kind of a threat to even playing field. And that Tachimol from Nino, that Tachimol is doing so much work here to stop the aggression. There's the Bometius though, but unfortunately the Tachimol is just going to stop that right in the tracks because Tachimol gets plus 4,000 power when it battles a fire creature, so actually he's going to outright just beat the. Oh my god, that's devastating. He's going to kill the Bometius immediately. Oh god. That goes into the Kukulupia as well. He's going to break a shield, but it's National Snare for the Tajimol. And one shield left, yeah, facing lethal on board, it's gonna be difficult. See what Mikkel he does here. It's just a very difficult situation to be in, like already, just the aggression. And that's kind of weakness with the Dragon deck, is that it doesn't really have a lot of tools. But there's a Kukulupia into the Super Dragon Machine Dolzak, but it might not be enough. Yeah, Final Shield, and that's it. Yeah, that's the thing about the Dragon deck is that it doesn't have a lot of tools to deal with like early aggression. Now Nino has switched up the deck since he won that first game, and he's going to be piloting his um, what's this? His four-color control deck, Deckout deck. That deck has really surprised me. It runs, of course, Slash Charger, but it also runs a lot of really like funky cards. It really is just like kind of weak in the early game. It tries to make up for that with a bunch of shield triggers, but once it gets to the late game, it is a absolute like impossible task to beat it. Like it has a few shields left. It can start mana nexusing. It can start slash charging you. It can wipe the wall with Apocalypse Rises and the Basilica Steels and stuff. It's a very like devastating in game it has. There's a Kukulubia in turn 3, which is what you want to see in Dragon deck. But unfortunately, there's a Proclamation of Death from Nino. Since he did go first, he does have an advantage there. Magma Dragon to follow up the aggression, but it's gonna be difficult. Again, like the longer time that passes, the better Nino's deck really becomes. It is really just like a late game deck, and it's just really devastating to like if you can obviously be with like a rush deck or like a really aggressive aggro deck, but once it like gets to the late game or the end of the game, then it just becomes like a lot more of an issue. So like you really have to like kind of rush it down to have a chance at like actually beating it. Um, which is definitely a problem because not a lot of people in this tournament or in our meta play like aggressive decks. They usually play kind of like control or mid range decks, which Nino's deck is really favored against. So Nino definitely making the right choice here and playing a deck that was actually really good against the current meta of our game. Um, but again, so the dragons. Dragons can do some stuff, but if you kill the Kukalupias and or if you rush it down, then it is a lot harder as a Cranium Clamp. Get rid of the ball and the Super Dragon Machine Dolzark there, which is swinging in with the thing or the Mugras, but there is a Mana Nexus. Nino is going to think about what he's going to play in the shields. He is planting what looks like a Lost Soul. Is that Lost Soul? Yeah, it's a Lost Soul, and it's a pretty good shield. He's going to break the next one. This is Proc. Choose which Melgas you want to send to grave, my friend. Proc has really surprised me. Sometimes it's literally just like a better terabit, right? Because it's 4 mana. If you have one creature, it's just a terabit, but obviously it's very less flexible because the opponent does get to choose. But it does go through things like Petrova, and stuff like that. So to me, the enticer. Don't know if it's gonna do much. I mean, Nino has just completely controlled over this game already. He's gonna get a bunch of cards back with the Bliss Totem. Obviously, maybe like Mikkel can play. Um, you know, like kind of an aggro game at this point. But there's a Thrash Crawler to get back Eureka Charger. If you think about it, he's gonna get back the Natural Snare, which makes sense. Bliss Totem's gonna activate to get back some mana from his graveyard. It's a mana zone, and that's really what you want to do in this deck as well. It has like Bliss Totem, Slash Charger, and like Mystic Dreamscape loops where you can like and Fresh Scroll loops where you can keep like doing that. It's a very like it actually reminds me a lot of a Japanese deck I saw like from early in Duel Masters history that I really thought was interesting. But of course, this is a very different deck and a very different meta. But it does remind me of that a lot. It has like kind of the same engine, like the Bliss Totem, Mystic Dreamscape Fresh Crawl engine with a bunch of charges and stuff. It's really cool. Um, there's some Melgars getting like which could like get in there. There's a Fresh Crawl on the way, but the Macro Dragon Dig also is actually kind of a threat. Unfortunately, I think Nino did take back the Natural Snare, right? So he can just go ahead and Natural Snare, I believe. Um, Again, like the Macro Dragon Dig also is definitely what you want to see in this matchup. It's very good against like this kind of deck, but obviously Natural Snare to get rid of it. There's a Slash Charger to get rid of more of Nickel's deck, and I think Nino plays 3 Slash Chargers. I think he has 4, but I think he plays the last one in another deck, and I think 3 is like plenty, you know. Although like Slash Charger turn 3 is just really strong. He has the Charmelia, and Nino doesn't have to do anything. The Melgars cannot answer the Thrash. Mikkel needs like a Dorsak or something. Oh, there's actually a Dorsak there, so now he can actually swing through, kill the Thrash or the Bliss. Probably yeah, he has to kill the Thrash. Put it in a mana zone so that he can get through. Otherwise, the Thrash is gonna block. He can't really take out the Bliss, and he can't really, you know, go for the Bliss here because it's too small. But not the Natural Snare, you know. So and now the Bliss can either just like not care about the Melgars or kill it, or just keep like using his tap abilities to get more cards into the mana zone, and that's like just really like hard to deal with for. It's just a deck that surmounts so much like late game energy, if that makes sense. Like it just goes absolutely crazy, and it just gets so much value in the late game, and you just can't do it. It has Lost Soul, it has Cranium Clamps, it has Eureka charges, energy streams, as fast scrolls to get everything back that you need. It's a very like scary deck to play against. It has like 50 cards or something as well. It's definitely the deck that surprised me the most when I saw Neo build it, because I was like, when he showed me the deck list and showed me what it was about, I was like, okay, that seems really cool, but this seems pretty janky. How does it win? But in the end, it does win. It just takes a while for it to win. But if it gets to a late game where it just has so much control, like it basically has a late game that no deck can beat. If that makes sense. Like it's a late game deck that's no other like deck can beat in late game. Like once you get there, it's over. So um, it's just about surviving that early game and mid game to get there. But once it does, it's a rough deck to play against. And I know a lot of people, including myself in this tournament, have been kind of annoyed at it just because it drags out very long. It's one of those decks that you can like slow play people with if you really wanted to, but it's also one deck that you can just like kind of just just finish off games really fast because people just like kind of turn off their heads or their brain after they play against it for like 10 minutes, right? So um, and I think this matchup is really bad for Mikkel as well. I gotta say, like both matchups are really bad for Mikkel's Dragon deck. I think he probably should have run Beast Folk against Nino here because Beast Folk is not the fast either, but it's fast on dragons, and he at least gets to go in fast because that's the only way to beat that deck is that you have to have like an aggressive start before he gets the proclamations of deaths, before he gets access to all of his like removal, his block and stuff, and obviously you have to be lucky with the shield triggers as well so you don't hit anything that's like too strong. But in general, it's just a really hard deck to beat once you get to that late game. Now, obviously, Mikkel is just trying his best to have some kind of a board here, but just all that mana, he just cast invincible technology, invincible cataclysm last turn, which completely like just devastated Mikkel's shields. without even giving him like a hand. So um, I mean, at this point, I would almost like just get rid of the creatures, and then he has Barca Steel in hand as well. He can use that to kind of swing in if he wants to, or he can just take him out. Yeah, like it really doesn't matter at this point. I don't think Mikkel can do much. I don't even know how many cards he has in his hand, but it's a ridiculous amount. Um, but yeah, I think Mikkel should have gone Beast Folk here. Honestly, I think Beast Folk is just a better matchup against this, but not sure he would win still. I mean, it's just his decks just aren't really like because they're really good against like other mid range decks and like rush decks. I think some of his decks can be that because they have a better like once they get control, they really get control. But they're too slow to deal with Nino's deck. They're too slow to apply early pressure in a significant way. Same with my kind of like that's the same thing with my liquid people deck is that it has kind of the same issue where it doesn't apply a lot of pressure or enough to where it's like a problem, unless it has like Melnier, Spin Slices, Aqua Guards, stuff like that. But still, that's not always good enough. You might need more than that. So it's an interesting like situation to be in for Mikkel here because like he just really can't like win that late game against us. So he has to rush it down, but that's not really what the dragons are made to do necessarily. So just not a good matchup in general. Not a Blitz Totem. I think it's possible for Mikkel to win, but it's very difficult. Yeah, there's that. But next turn is just GG. There's not much you can do. If the Blitz Totem doesn't get him, then the Barca will. So yeah, GG's. And that was it. So Nino is going to take third place in the tournament, which means that there's only one video left of this tournament, which will be uploaded very soon. I hope I can upload it either today or tomorrow. The finals, which is going to be between me and Casper, and of course in the finals it's going to be first to two. So the one person, the player who wins the first game, is not allowed to play the same deck in the second game, where they have to switch to their second deck. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this. Nino's taking third place, very well deserved with his his Pharzinomancer deck and also his janky 4-color control deck. And shout outs to Mikkel for bringing the heat with the Dragons and Beast Folk. That was a great showing. But yeah, unfortunately, that matchup is just really hard. Both of them are really hard for Mikkel. So yeah. But yeah, that's gonna be it for this episode or this this video. So I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one. Take care, everyone.